Hi, this is Dan with EmergencyFoodWarehouse.com. We recently introduced Survival Cave food to our line of food offerings on our website. And what we're going to do here is go ahead and do a taste test of their canned meat offerings. They offer beef, chicken, pork, turkey, and ground beef. And we're going to go ahead and test everything except the ground beef right now. We've only got 4 burners and pots up, so we figure this will give you a really good idea as to what is available, and most people know what ground beef smells and tastes like, so don't really have to talk about that. The good news about Survival Cave food is you've got basically just the meat cooked in its own juices. There's no extra water added, there's no flavoring added, there's not a lot of sodium in here, whatever's pretty much natural with the meat. I think they may have added a touch during cooking, but that's it. So we're going to go ahead and open these up. We'll show you what the cans look like once they're opened. One point to note, if you're doing preparations and you've got anything canned, make sure you've got a manual can opener. You know, the powered ones are great, but if the power is out, you're not going to be able to get into your food very easily. So obviously a manual turn can opener is required. So we're going to come back in a minute or two when I've got these opened up and in the pots so you can see what it looks like before we cook them. And we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got 4 of the cans of the canned meat open already, and we're going to zoom in a little bit and I'll talk about each of them. As you'll see here, this is the beef, and there's actually chunks of beef in there. You see that, the fat around there? That's just proof that they're cooking it and making it with the real juices. That's obviously how it's going to turn sitting for a while, but once you cook it up, that'll melt and mix in together with the rest of the juices. So that's the beef. We have the chicken here, and the broth almost looks like chicken soup broth. And you've got the chunks of chicken in there. This here is the pork. Similar situation. It's going to look a lot better once we have it cooked up and stirred in. But we did want to show you how it looks coming out of the can. And this here is the turkey. Looks very similar to the chicken, just a little bit different meat. Similar juices around the side of it. So we'll come back in a minute or so and show you how things look cooked up, and then we'll actually do a taste test for you. Alright, so we've already poured everything into the various pots, and actually things are looking a lot more appetizing now that they're in the pots and kind of broken up a little bit, not in the can. So we're going to show you that real quick before we start to cook it. That's the beef. That there is the chicken. Here is the pork in the back, and we've got turkey here in the front. And what you'll notice is, with the beef in particular, it's really chunks of beef that are almost like you would find in a beef stew, as opposed to ground beef, which we all know what it looks like, all ground up into small granules. What I also noticed was with the chicken and the turkey, you could easily drain out the fluids and mix it into like a chicken salad. You could probably throw it over, you know, a regular salad, and that would be your chicken or turkey toppings on top of the salad. But they all look pretty good. We're going to cook it up, and once cooked up, we're going to do a little bit of a taste test for you. Alright, so here we are just heating them up. We're just putting them over a flame. Obviously, if you're in a survival situation, you could do this over an open flame in some kind of a cooking setup. But the great part about this is everything is pre-cooked, so you really don't have to cook things. All you really have to do is heat things up to your preference. I imagine some of this stuff you could probably even eat cold if you really had to, and we're not in a position where you've got fire and the ability to heat things up. But we're going to taste test these in a minute or so. But as you see here in the beef, the fat that you saw in the can when we first opened it up has completely melted, and it's now just part of the broth. The good news is about the natural juices. If you're pouring this over any type of a pasta or a rice dish, you've got the juices for the flavoring over whatever you're pouring this over. Alright, now we're going to finally do the taste test. Again, you've seen all we did was empty the can into the pot. heated it up, and now we're going to taste everything. So first I'm going to go with the turkey here, and first time I'm trying this. Just tastes like turkey chopped up a little bit. Even though it's got the juices in it, tiny bit dry, so I would probably encourage you to scoop a little bit more juices in to keep it in the juices, because I just drained it out through a spoon to get this. But I could easily see mixing this in with some mayonnaise or something to make like a turkey salad, or throwing it over a salad itself to get you some protein in with the salad. So yeah, definitely tastes like just regular turkey. The back here is the pork. I'm actually curious to see how this would be on a sandwich with perhaps some barbecue sauce, like a pulled pork type of sandwich. And that's exactly what it tastes like. Could definitely add a little bit of seasoning to this, throw it on a sandwich, have some pulled pork, and it's exactly what you're getting. Pretty good. All right. We're going to go ahead and try out the meat next. The beef. Had to get the pork down. And as I said before, these are actually chunks of meat. It's not ground beef. They do sell the ground beef as well, but didn't want to get into that taste test right now. So, chunk of beef, see how this tastes. Actually tastes good. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. Would be great for making some kind of a stew with some vegetables or whatever else you throw in there. A real good chunky beef. And lastly, we're going to do the chicken. Again, I think you can make a chicken salad out of it, whether it be with mayonnaise or just throwing this chicken on top of a regular garden salad. Yep. Again, everything tastes great. Everything tastes as it should. Chicken tastes like chicken, pork like pork, beef like beef, and turkey like turkey. All right, so the last thing we want to show you is what you can do with the meats from Survival Cave Food. What we did was we just did the taste test and went through it all heated. But what we've done is we've taken, in this case, the chicken, and we've cooled it off, mixed in a little bit of mayonnaise, and you basically have chicken salad. Tastes just like any chicken salad that you'd get anywhere else. Chop in a little bit of celery, onions, or whatever else you'd like to add, and you've got chicken salad. This is the turkey, and I did the same thing. Again, just mixed in some mayonnaise. A very good way. You can throw that on some bread. And then what I did here was, this was the pork. And if you'll see here, it looks like the pulled pork. I mixed in a little bit of barbecue sauce. So now we could heat this up a little bit, throw it on bread or a roll, and you've got yourself like a pulled pork sandwich. Barbecued pulled pork sandwich. That little bit of barbecue sauce makes for a very sweet, tasty flavor. So again, you can eat it plain, you can mix it in with rice, pastas, whatever you want to do. One of the things we're going to do is mix in the beef, the leftover beef that we've got, with, hold on, we've got a Survival Cave freeze-dried food, which is a beef vegetable flavored stew. So this by itself would probably be good, but if you can add in some real beef, you now have a much better protein source with the freeze-dried. So lots of options with the canned meats, and I'm really happy with it. I'm glad to have some of these canned meats in my food storage, and I will absolutely be tapping into these. Well, hopefully I don't need to, but if I do, it's great to know that I've got these sources of protein here. Seems to be a great value, low sodium, None of these taste high in salt, none of them. So I highly recommend it. Again, my name is Dan with Emergency Food Warehouse. Hopefully you found this taste test helpful and can actually see what you're getting in the canned meats. Thanks.